Hello, everyone. Welcome to Scott's mapping channel. I'm going to do a little bit of background context setting for working with data on a PC with the goal of working with it in ArcGIS Pro, but also other pieces of software. I'm at the University of Saskatchewan. We have Microsoft OneDrive. We also have a few other systems. My experience since 2020 has been to avoid OneDrive for specific reasons that I'll say now, like that it's dynamic sharing or dynamic updating of files is troublesome because Microsoft accessing files that are simultaneously open, for instance, in ArcGIS Pro can cause problems in ArcGIS Pro, maybe with the saving. Now there are settings in OneDrive that allow you to, when using OneDrive, to set it to be offline mode, so it's not uploading. I don't do that. Part of the reason I don't do that is for the reason I'm going to share now, is that I use a system on my campus that's called Cabinet, which is a drive that's available on all computers in all labs and every computer connected to the university system. I love it. I love it. That's it. I mean, I just love it because historically, I have a pattern that I'll go through here that I would save data in specific places on my C drive, the root of the C drive, not in my documents, but at the C drive. This cabinet on our campus appears to the computer, to me, as a root drive, as a C type drive. And it's available on all computers on campus. So I can go in there if I'm logged into that computer using my security name server ID. I can see my cabinet. I can see my documents, and to me that's pretty cool. Okay, so in this window, not sure how well you can see this because it is pretty small. I'm going to bring it into the middle. I'm sitting on this PC. If I go to this PC, it shows the various drives. There's the C drive. That's the hard drive in the plastic box that's under my desk. Also a viable place. That's historically the place I would be putting lots of my GIS stuff. But I see Cabinet here, and so I'm going to go to Cabinet, open it. And you see some folder structure there. Most importantly, you see a folder called, I'm laughing because it's the number 1, but I've got 1 GIS data. I put the 1 there because if this is sorted alphabetically, then it's always going to be on top. GIS data is where I save my data. It's also a place from which I access data, a little less so now with Pro, and we'll get to that as we're going through this. But if I open up 1 GIS data, there are a few folders here. The 2 most important are the second and third. This folder called Active and a folder called Safe. After I download a file, and you can see something I've downloaded here at the bottom. This is from Census Mapper API. I've downloaded a GeoJSON format file and a data file. Those are going to be in my downloads. I would take those from my downloads. I can click here on downloads and see those files up at the top there. I'm going to go back to Cabinet. I would take those, copy them, and rename them. I don't want to put geos2.geojson and data parentheses 4 in my safe. So sometime either before I put them into safe or after I put them into safe, I will save that. I will change that data, and you can see some other files like Census 1, Census 2. I want to make sure that those are changed. But I would drop them into my safe folder, and the safe folder is somewhere from which I'm going to access that data once. I'm going to copy it from my safe folder, and then I'm going to put it in my active folder, and you can see a variety of folders here. The safe folder is just a place where I pass through that data, and it's always going to stay in that safe data folder. I'm going to copy from there and paste into active, and you can see some things like the GeoJSON YXE, which I've just created on July 18th. It is looking at my watch. It's the 24th, so that was just last week. And I pass that data through through the safe folder into the active folder, and then the active folder is but is a place where historically before Pro, I'd be using the data right from the active folder. Maybe if I liked it after working with it and knew I was going to use it for a project, it would go into a separate folder related to that project's name. That use of the word project is different from the use of the word project within ArcGIS Pro. There's projects and maps and things like that are important and we'll get to. But it's from here that I would either add the data to a map in ArcGIS Pro or move it into or close to a project folder in the location that ArcGIS Pro by default saves the projects that you create. So you do end up with two locations where the ArcGIS format folders are being stored and the data for them. But ArcGIS does a pretty good job of managing data locations, and as long as we're taking from the active, we know we have a previous version of that data that's safe in the safe folder. So quick intro there. Keeping in mind we're going to be saving things at the root on my computer here and all the computers on my campus. It's a thing called cabinet. Here, my computer's named it the V drive. It may be given a different arbitrary letter drive name. That's okay. Cabinet's what's important. And I'm going to put the folders in the root of that location of that drive. The root means V drive and then the name of the folder where I'm keeping my GIS data. I call it GIS data, and then I have safe and active in that GIS data folder. First it goes into safe, and then I copy it from safe into active, and then it's from active that I'll access it and add it to maps and projects and things I'm doing. Part of this is guided by so many years of experience in working with iterations. That doesn't make it better, but I came up with these approaches to working with data because there were problems with spaces in early versions of ArcGIS software. It didn't like spaces in the path of a name for some tools, or at some points for all tools. So I do like to have spaces in names, keeping names short, precise, and always keeping a notepad and keeping notes. So hopefully this is a good intro to working with spatial data to give you some guidance on some quote unquote best practices. Okay.